Discipline. Now, discipline is one of the hardest things to achieve, and not for the reasons that you think. It's not that you're lazy. It's not that you're weak. It's not about any of that, in all honesty. It's that we aren't treating discipline the right way, because discipline isn't as much about getting up and doing things that you don't feel like doing. It's about, first of all, picking what you are disciplined in. So if you're going to be disciplined, make sure that it's something you love. It's a passion that you care about. This isn't about getting rich quick. It's not about the quick side hustle, right? It's about building something. It's about creating something. It's about turning discipline less into discipline and more into habits and routines. And the reason I say that is because it's not really discipline that's going to get you anywhere. It's the habit, right? You can fight your whole entire life. You can push yourself your whole entire life. But until you have mastered the actual activity, the habit, the repetition, there's no way you can reach any place that is successful from that alone. Okay, that clip that you guys just watched, I filmed yesterday right before I got this haircut. So if you're thinking I'm looking a little bit different, that's why. It's part of the first video that I filmed. This is the fourth video that I'm filming right now. I had to really adjust because as I was talking about discipline, I realized that what I was saying was not going to help you guys. And I want to make sure that I'm 100% clear. Discipline, because it is such an important topic, it needs to be taught clearly. And so I wrote some notes real quick. I regrouped with myself in my journal and I wrote some notes. And I want to talk to you guys about what discipline is. Basically, the explanation or the description of discipline that I decided upon was this. Discipline is the pursuit of passion or a willingness to suffer for what you love. And might I add, it's a willingness to suffer for what you love for an extended period of time. One thing I was thinking about as I was talking about discipline, and a thought that I feel like I've never heard anybody talk about, but something that I've learned, and it has become kind of a subconscious lesson to myself, is that discipline is no different than stocks, okay? If you guys have ever dabbled with the stock market, trust me, you guys don't have to know anything about it. But if you've ever dabbled with it, you understand what the trends look like. You understand what the graph looks like. You understand what the analytics look like. Okay, and it doesn't take that long to recognize what they look like. You just have to be in there for a couple minutes looking at a couple different stocks or cryptocurrencies, whatever. But you'll notice that there's always a slight uptrend. In YouTube language, that's like you make one video, it's really big, everybody loves it. But then the next day you lose a ton of subscribers because they find some of your other content and they're like, oh, this isn't exactly what I subscribed for. And then all of a sudden you kind of go up and then you plateau again. It's like all like steps, right? You win big or you take one step up, but then your foot always has to come back down onto the next step in front of you, right? That's always how it goes. Now, the only thing is you can never lose with discipline. Discipline's actually fairly easy, and I'm gonna tell you guys exactly why. It's not that you're lazy. It's not that you're incapable or that you're weak, like I said at the beginning. It's simply that you don't love what you're doing. You don't love what you're disciplined for. And that's what passion is. If you look at the root word of passion, it comes from the Latin word passio, which means to suffer or to endure. Which is so interesting because passion to us is something you just really care about. But you have to understand that passion is a lot deeper than that. If you love something, you're willing to suffer for it. You might enjoy the process a little bit more if you love it, but it doesn't mean that there aren't going to be hard days. I wrote that true discipline will naturally come at the beginning stages of an expedition for freedom. The reason we chase what we love is because we love it. We feel the most free when we do it. We understand that the peak point of that passion is always going to be freedom, that we'll be able to do what we love forever, however we want. We won't have to worry about a boss breathing down our neck. We won't have to worry about an employer or a coworker annoying you, nothing like that. All you have to worry about is just doing what you love and making sure that your passions, your purpose aligns with your principles. The next big thing is I want to talk about this. Passion, if you chase what you love for an extended period of time, what I was talking about, aka discipline, if you chase what you love for an extended period of time, you will then hit a point which is about 30 to 66 days after you begin. 30 to 66 days after we begin chasing what we love, the pursuit of what we love, or the pursuit for freedom, we develop something called habit. And discipline is not so much about discipline, it's about habit. Because it's really only a short period of time that you need discipline. Once you achieve habit, then one day missed feels like an absolute loss. It feels miserable. It feels depressing. And you never want to miss once you've achieved habit. For example, I go to the gym. If I miss the gym, even though it's so painful, even though it's kind of miserable sometimes, if I miss the gym one day, my whole day just feels off. I feel off. I feel miserable. I get depressed. I waste more time. And I recognize this trend. And I just can't miss a day at the gym because I know it's so important for me. That's why discipline's easy, is because you chase what you love for 30 to 66 days until you develop a habit, and then everything becomes automatic. What is a habit? Now I want to talk about that. Habit is a concept designed by entrepreneurs and successful people to automate their practices. So yeah, true discipline literally comes from chasing what you love, and then it becomes easy. If you look at all the successful people in the world, they all kind of say the same exact thing. They just did what they loved for an extended period of time until one day they won. Okay, now going back to analytics. I kind of want you guys to think about analytics, how they look. I'm going to give you guys a little graph right here, a little chart where it kind of goes up and then it plateaus and goes up and it plateaus. Or just goes up and up and up. Now, one thing you guys have to understand is that in these analytic charts, one sharp spike typically means nothing, especially if you do nothing the next day, right? If you spike up, it goes super big, you go super viral, it literally means nothing because anything can happen the next day. You probably won't get that same success, right? In fact, you'll probably plateau after that. And then it might go up a little bit more and you'll plateau. And a little bit more and it will plateau. It's by showing up every single day, you'll see that this chart will just kind of take steps up. And then one day, you'll just kind of be there. It all happens so gradually. You don't realize it's happening until you're at the top of a high-rise apartment wearing a cashmere sweater. Next, I want to talk about journaling. Journaling is a discipline tool. You guys need to start journaling a little bit more. Set some checkbox missions. Make your life feel like a video game. Set some quests for the day. These are my quests. Okay, here's a checkbox mission I had up here. You can't even see it. Right there, a little checkbox. Journaling is a discipline tool. It literally will turn your life into a video game if you let it. Right where you came from, how you're feeling in that day. And then in a couple of weeks, when you've gotten to page 50, when you look back, you'll say, oh my gosh, I've seen myself grow so much. If you can see the growth, if you can see how much you've changed, if you can see how much happier you are, then it becomes a lot easier. That's why a journal has been so powerful for me, because a couple years ago, I reached my lowest point. Here's a picture of my lowest point. I look like a crazy, I look like I hit my lowest point, if you know what I'm saying. A journal became a very powerful thing to me. That was where I first sat down and wrote some of my feelings, some of my thoughts. I wrote a little letter to myself, and then I put it in an envelope and I saved it for myself a year later. And I was able to see the growth. I was able to see the change. And the same thing can be done with a journal. You're writing yourself letters all the time, so you can go back, reflect, and see how much you're changing. You can write down where you want to be, and then act on faith to get there. And you'll see how God works miracles in your life little by little, and He always does. That's what I've learned from journaling most above all things, is that God is in every single detail that you place. So understand the patterns of discipline. Understand how your journal works. Write in your journal. Converse with the Lord in your journal. Pray in your journal. Talk to yourself in your journal. Write checkbox missions. Make your life a little bit more meaningful. And you can do that simply with a journal. Of course, understand the pattern of discipline and you will have no problem being disciplined. I want you guys to see visually what discipline looks like. Sharp wins means nothing. Slow and gradual raises mean the world. I'm here to tell you guys that discipline can be a lot easier. It can be a lot easier. It doesn't mean it won't be hard. It doesn't mean you won't suffer for it. But maybe your issue with discipline right now is that you're doing it wrong. Maybe you're disciplined for the wrong things. Have you taken the hint yet? If you don't love what you're chasing, then what makes you think you're going to love it when you get there? If you can't look at the end result and say that this is good for me, then you're chasing the wrong thing. So do what you love. Chase what you love. Set goals to achieve it by certain time periods. See the growth. See it as it comes. The road to discipline, like I said, it's only 33 to 66 days and then it becomes habit. But the journey is long, meaningful, and it is much more about getting to know yourself and your relationship with God and how He impacts your life than it is about just chasing. There's a lot more purpose and power to discipline. So my friends, my name is Gabriel Bowman. I talk about things like this all the time. My whole entire purpose is to help inspire you guys, help educate you guys, help you guys to rise up and become successful people. And here we are. This is the community for it. If you need help becoming disciplined, I've created a Discord chat. I don't know if anyone's going to join, but if I see you guys join, then we can kind of talk about our goals and keep each other accountable, right? We can cheer each other on and create that environment of growth that we all need. So go ahead and go in the description. You'll find the link right there. Join the Discord channel, and then we'll build a little community of powerful men and women to go achieve and conquer all of the dragons in our lives. My name is Gabriel Bowman. I post like this every single Monday, and I'll see you next Monday. Also, remember to like, comment, and subscribe if you like the video, as it's going to help me. I really do appreciate you guys. I love you, and I'll see you later. Bye.